So like when I was using the traditional method, I was studying after work. So you're already tired,
Yep.
and I have a long commute too. It's just oh my god. And then you have to watch hours long lecture videos, and you're gonna zone out. So you're gonna
Mhm.
replay them. Same thing with a textbook. You're gonna zone out when you're reading it, and then you're gonna have to reread it. And like that quote unquote 30-minute lecture turns into 2 hours, and then you're gonna have to do like all the, and then you're gonna have to move on to practice questions when you're already tired from work, from commuting, and then watching that lecture with such a low ROI. So I would, in the past, I would have to study over 4, 5, 6 hours like after work, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so draining. I cannot do this.
Welcome to another episode of the CPA Exam Experience Podcast from SuperfastCPA. I'm Logan, and in today's episode, you're going to hear me talking with Jason. Now, Jason is probably the most excited person I've had on the podcast, as in excited to be on the podcast. He had made it one of his goals to be on the podcast once he discovered it and started using SuperfastCPA. And I think you'll find a lot of great tips and advice from Jason because he was very passionate about this process. He went from failing multiple exams. I think he failed audit 3 times. And then when he switched to SuperfastCPA, he passed 4 exams in a row and was done with them in 6 months. So a huge difference, a huge contrast. And you'll hear Jason talking about all the differences and all the changes that he made to be able to accomplish that. Honestly, I don't want to really say too much because he has a lot of great things to say. And again, he was very excited to be on the podcast. So I think it'll be awesome for you to listen to him. So let's get into the episode as quick as we can. Just before we get into the episode, I want to give one more reminder about our Superfast CPA training webinar on superfastcpa.com. This is something that Jason watched, and you should watch it too. It is a 1-hour free webinar where we will teach you the key ingredients to passing the CPA exam so you don't waste months or even years of your time failing exams. And that, of course, is well worth 1 hour of your time. And after you watch that, you're going to want to learn more. So, of course, make sure you check out becoming a pro member of SuperfastCPA or buying our extra study materials or, of course, getting the total bundle where you get everything that we offer. I'm excited for us to get into the interview with Jason. So without further ado, let's get into the interview with Jason. All right. Hey, Jason, I'm super happy to be on the podcast call with you today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I love Superfast CPA. I used it for the past 6 months in order to pass all my CPA exams. And I know Nate always said you have to have a why on why you want to pass your CPA exams to get through all the hurdles and to motivate you. And obviously I had a lot of important whys, like impress my career mentors, impress my family. But
yeah.
One of my whys was to be on the podcast. So I'm super excited.
I had a very similar goal. I remember thinking the same thing, like I'm going to be on that podcast when I'm done. So that's awesome that it'll be great to have you sharing all your experiences because these podcast episodes, as you saw yourself, are super helpful. So yeah, let's just kind of get into everything. I know that you in your email that you sent us to kind of be a part of this, it was like the failed 3 times, switched to SuperfastCPA, passed all 4 in 6 months, kind of one of those classic awesome stories. So let's kind of dive into that. How did you start? Like, how did you get to that point? What were you doing when you wanted to become a CPA?
Yeah, so at that time, so I guess to back up a little, I had first started working out in tax compliance, and then later I transitioned to a financial reporting role. And I started studying around the middle of 2023. I was using the traditional method because everybody gets Becker from their provided by their company, and I was just like, okay, well I'll use Becker. Everybody says that's the gold standard. So I mean, just like a lot of other people do with the quote unquote traditional studying method approach. Well, I went on to Becker. I watched the lectures, read the textbook, and I did the questions. And the very first exam that I passed was BEC. That was the traditional method, but I kind of went downhill from there because then I started taking audit and I was using the traditional study approach, and I got a 71 on that. Then I was just like, oh no. So I was like, well, what's going on? So I restudied again using the traditional approach. I rewatched lectures. I reread the textbook, read through all my notes, and then I failed again with a 72. So I
Oh
was
man.
just like, oh man, what's going on, right? So after I failed the second time, I had actually had like a family emergency on my end. So I had to take a break from CPA studying for about a year and a half. And I picked it back up around mid 2025. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, all right, well, this third time's the charm. I'll take audit again, right? So again, using the traditional studying approach, I'll just like, reread the textbook, rewatch the lectures. And guess what? I failed again and I got a 70. So for
Oh,
audit,
man,
I
right
had a
around the same.
71.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was audit 71, 72, and 70. It was super frustrating because, I mean, from an early age, with our school system, we're like, it's drilled into our heads like, oh, you go to school, you attend the lecture, and then you come home and you do your homework, and that's how you get a good grade. I mean, it's drilled into us with elementary,
Yep.
middle school, high school, and college. So that's loud. So I was just wondering, like, what the heck is going on? Like, I genuinely cannot pass. And let me know if I'm going off on a tangent over here, but
No worries.
because I'm probably making this answer way too long-winded. But I was just like, what's going on? And so I was just like, okay, maybe I'll just take a break from audit because I just failed it the past 3 times, and I'll move on
Yeah.
to reg because I mean I used to work in tax compliance. That's my background. Maybe that's my strong suit. But even when I was studying for reg under the traditional approach, I was just like, oh my God, I'm still so stressed out and I'm still so nervous. And then I remember one night, lo and behold, I get this ad on Instagram and I see Nate from SuperfastCPA and he's describing like these acronyms. And I was just like, well, what do these acronyms mean? And I was just like, what the heck is SuperfastCPA? I've never heard of it before. I've been using Vector my entire study process. And I'm just like, is this a gimmick? So I Googled it. I was like, oh, wait. I saw a lot of good reviews on it. So I was like, okay, wait a minute. These guys are legit. So I signed up for y'all's free webinar and everything in the free webinar clicked for me. It's just like, I mean, it's a SAID principle, SAID, specific adaptation to impose demand. On exam day, you are not going to be tested on how well you can watch a lecture. On exam day, you are not going to be tested on how well you can read a textbook. On exam day, the only thing that matters is questions. So during your study process, the SAID principle, you should impose that demand of questions onto yourself so your mind can adapt to it and you can actually do
and that's what you get good at. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no worries. So with the, like, the whole traditional approach and then finding SuperFast CPA, what was it that really stood out to you that kind of, I mean, you were just barely talking about it a little bit, maybe the multiple choice questions, right? But explain like the difference once you started going from the traditional approach to the SuperFast CPA.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's one of those things that like Nate talked about, like, oh, you watch it, like I think I remember him saying like, oh, stop me if this sounds familiar. You watch a lecture and then you move on to the multiple choice questions and you realize only about 20% of the material on the lecture actually carries over to the questions that to the practice questions that you're subsequently doing. And it's just like such a low ROI. I mean, it's just like, well, why am I spending all this time watching a lecture, learning all this material, but only have a 20% carryover rate to the multiple choice questions? Whereas if I start with the multiple choice questions first, it has a 100%
of it
ROI.
applies. Yep.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes, exactly. So that was one of the big things that helped us the SuperFast with like, SuperFast CPA method. And I love you guys' study tools. I mean, like, this might be difficult to explain, but I mean, like, there really is a lot of value in doing mini sessions throughout the day. Like, basically, for first-time listeners, basically, you're on your phone. You have the amazing SuperFast CPA app. It has a lot of great, quick mini quizzes that you can take. It has a lot of great review notes. It has a lot of great audio notes that you can listen to while you're driving your car or you're walking or whatever. And there's a lot of value in that because I come from a background of a lot of different hobbies where you learn a lot of different stuff. And and working out, whenever you first start working out, there's whenever like people first start working out, they have difficulty doing pull-ups, for instance. What a lot of people do is that they mount a pull-up bar onto their doorway, and every time they pass through that doorway, they have to do 1 to 2 pull-ups. And within the course of a couple months, they get really good at it versus them trying to do a bunch of pull-ups in one session. That's not going to be as effective as doing it throughout the day. Another example I could bring up is like whenever people are people learning a language in high school. I mean, like people usually don't really effectively learn a language in high school.
No.
Because what they do is they have one big session during like the day. Like, oh, let's say like I'm in high school, I have Spanish or French for an hour, and then for the rest of the 23 hours in the day, I don't do anything, and that's why people don't learn a
You don't
language.
even think about it. Yep.
Yeah. You know, whereas like somebody in a foreign country, like let's say they're in Spain, they're trying to learn Spanish. Well, you wake up, you're forced to use Spanish to talk to your landlord, and then later in the day, you're forced to use Spanish to order food or ask for directions or whatever. The point is, whether it's like pull-ups or learning a different language, you're using that information in short, intermittent bursts throughout the day. And that's exactly what really clicked with me about SuperFast CPA is that you're essentially doing the same thing. Like, yes, you have that main 2-hour study session throughout the day, but then throughout the day, I mean, everybody loves checking Instagram. Everybody loves checking text messages from friends. What I did was that I just like every time I opened up my phone, I would open up the SuperFast CPA app. I would have a quiz already open, and then I would close my phone, and then inevitably throughout the day, I will obviously instinctively reach into my pocket to check Instagram or whatever. But no, once I open up my phone,
the app's already there.
Yeah, the app's already there. There's less barriers to entry because it's already there. So like, hey, Jason, if you want to check Instagram, if you want to check that text from a friend, you have to get through this 5-question mini quiz first. And guess what? Usually whenever like I did one quiz, I was just like, okay, that wasn't that bad. I'll do another one, or maybe I'll do a third one. So I mean, like over time, you just get a bunch of questions throughout the day. And I mean, like throughout your entire study process, you accumulate hundreds, if not thousands of extra questions. And that will in turn obviously lead to a much like higher like exam point boost.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I love a lot of the things that you said there. I mean, the connection of like the pull-up bar and then, you know, speaking a new language. I mean, I experienced that directly. I took Spanish in high school, learned absolutely nothing, like zero. And then I lived in Costa Rica for 2 years, and going from, you know, exactly like you said, you know, you're in the classroom, you think you're learning, but then you don't do anything about it. You don't apply it. Then you don't learn anything. But then when I was living there, I had to speak it literally all the time, all day, every day. And you pick it up so much faster, and you're immersed in it. And that's exactly the whole point of SuperFast CPA, like the app. That's exactly what you were saying, you know, is to be able to be immersed in it constantly. Because that is just, it's way easier to do that than spend 5 hours sitting at your computer every night when you're already tired, you know? And I really like your idea. I think a lot of people should do this exact thing with the mini quiz. Like, not only like have SuperFast CPA like on your home screen, but you're saying that you left it open on your phone and then turned your phone off so that you open your phone screen and then the quiz is already right there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
I love that.
Like, because like you don't want like barriers to entry, because like if I just have SuperFast CPA, SuperFast CPA app on my home screen, but I also have Instagram on my home screen
right next to it.
I also have the text message app on my home screen, or Twitter or whatever. Then it's just like, well, oh god, then you're gonna have to make that decision. Like, do I want to check Instagram, or am I gonna go to SuperFast CPA? And like that creates kind of like a friction. You want to remove that friction. Like you just want, like, because I mean, like everybody's gonna pull up their phone like 100 times a day. You just want that thing, like that SuperFast CPA quiz right there once you unlock your phone. So yeah,
I love it. Yeah. I think that people should do that, like, and they could switch off between the quizzes or the review notes. Did you ever do that with the review notes, or was it mainly quizzes that you had always pulled up?
It was mainly quizzes, but the review notes most definitely helped. I've like for quizzes, like, oh, like if you want to check Instagram, you're gonna have to get through 1 or 2 quizzes. Well, with the review notes, like same thing. Like, oh, if you want to check your Instagram, you're gonna have to get through a couple of pages of SuperFast CPA review notes in order to give yourself the privilege of checking Instagram. And again, it builds up, because I mean, like over time, you're doing like hundreds and if not thousands of more questions, or you're reading hundreds of pages of review notes, and you can't tell me that if you do 100 or 1,000 extra questions, that it won't in turn lead to an exam point boost.
Exactly.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I think you guys literally have like the best app out there for like CPA reviewing.
I love it. Yeah, I agree. So you saw the webinar, and was it like right away you're like interested and you went and bought it, or like what was the process after that?
Yeah, so when I saw the webinar, I was just like, I was still a little skeptical because I mean, like, it's an unorthodox strategy. Do questions first. I mean, that goes against like everything we're taught in college and high school and whatnot. So I was just like, okay, maybe I'll try this. But after I passed reg, I was just like, okay, super fast CPA. These guys know what they're talking about. These guys are experts. I'm gonna buy their app. I'm gonna start doing mini sessions because again, it's like learning a language, or it's like doing learning to do pull-ups or whatever. Like there's a lot of value and benefit, scientifically proven, of doing stuff throughout the day. Compared to, and like if you're trying to do mini quizzes using like Becker or Gleim or UWorld or whatever mainstream like review course, like it's hard to do because like a lot of people I'll talk about on this podcast, like it's hard to do like full force questions like oh, I open up the phone, I'm using Becker, I have to look at an entire balance sheet just to like use questions. Like it's not very mobile friendly, whereas like you guys make sure that like even though the questions are like quote unquote simplified, they still like really test your knowledge and really test like what you know. And like I found that like let's say I'm doing a bunch of like super fast CPA mini quizzes, and then I study later on using my full review course. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this popping up for the mini quizzes. I even had like some questions on exam day where like it was just like, I remember this from the super fast CPA mini quizzes.
That's
it
perfect.
was such a satisfying feeling.
So, I mean, there was something I caught on to there. So did you pass reg before actually purchasing SuperfastCPA? CPA? You just kind of took some of the ideas from the webinar. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. That's what happened. I just took some ideas from the webinar first because I was like, okay, is this actually real? And I was like, okay, yeah, this is actually real. You guys are like legit really smart and like experts on this. So I mean, like I guess like a timeline of my CPA was BEC passed with traditional method, but then failed on it 3 times under the traditional method, and then I took reg, TCP, FAR, and audit, all in that
in
like
6
bubble.
months, right?
Yeah, in 6 months with using super fast CPA, and I passed all 4 on those in the first try. So it was definitely super fast.
Yeah. I mean, 6 months is an awesome timeline. So you lost your credit for BEC then because of that, like kind of that break. And so what did you change? But like before you even purchased SuperfastCPA, CPA, what did you change and start implementing to make you pass reg?
I think it was definitely questions first, because I mean because I mean again it's like that ROI thing that I was talking about. It's just like, oh, you watch a lecture, so there's only a 20% carryover rate when you move on to multiple choice questions, whereas if you do the multiple choice questions, it has 100% carryover rate towards what you're going to see on exam day. So that was what I took. And like some people may say like, oh, you're only doing questions, you're only studying towards the exam, you're not actually learning anything. Well, I mean, like I've been, because of super fast CPA and like you guys' like questions first approach, I've genuinely been able to like apply so much of what I've learned towards my actual job, like passive activity loss limitations. Like I work in a financial reporting role now, so like I can understand the statement of cash flows better. Like I can understand like certain audit procedures better whenever our auditors are around. So it's just like I've been able to learn this stuff better and apply it to my job better because of super fast CPA. So I mean, like besides being able to pass exams, there's also like carry over to my real world stuff.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like with what you're saying there, like because the multiple choice questions are active, you're actually applying yourself. You're having to use problem solving to learn it, and therefore it sticks in your brain better. You actually understand it better. Whereas just listening to somebody explain it or just reading it in a textbook, it's not going to give that same return, like you're saying. So that makes sense that you're able to like have it stick more even for your job. So you changed like multiple choice questions first, and did you also like start studying in the morning, or was that maybe like, because I think you mentioned that you purchased the study bundle but you didn't ever have the pro course. So what where did you get most of the strategies from Superfast CPA? Was it like the podcast, or where did you get most of them?
It was the webinar and the podcast, but
Okay.
I mean, looking back, I would have definitely bought the pro course first because I mean, like it would have saved me like so much time. Like, so there was some of this stuff that I had to figure out first, and then I heard on the podcast, and I was just like, oh yeah, had I had the pro course first, it would have saved me so much extra time and energy. I mean, like, it's worth it just to save yourself the time and the energy, and like from possible fail attempts. Like if you just buy the Superfast CPA Pro course method first, because like you guys literally have it like all outlined, like, oh hey, this is what you should do. This is like, these are the strategies, these are the tips, etc. So yeah.
So what were those kinds of things? Like, what was it that you like kind of were trying to figure out on your own, and then you heard it on the podcast or the webinar, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, what kind of things were those?
Like flashcards, for instance, like let's say you're doing your re-reviews. I mean, I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but I love you guys' like 30 questions like re-review process that you guys mentioned like at the end of each study session. Just because I mean, you're gonna inevitably forget like all your prior chapters as you move forward with the other chapters. And I had noticed that like whenever I was doing my re-review sessions, that like, oh wait, why do I keep missing these? And I was just like, okay, maybe I should like take some flashcards on this, and like maybe that'll help me stop missing these questions on my re-review. And then I remember hearing on the podcast, like, oh wait, you guys said the exact same thing. Like, I wish I figured this out earlier, because it will save me so much extra time from having to study. And that saved time from studying could have gone towards like hobbies and like other like family time and like whatnot, like actual fun time.
Yeah.
So and yeah, no, that flashcard tip was like truly like so valuable to me, because I mean, like, you're essentially turning a weakness into a strength on exam day. Like, oh, let's say I'm struggling with asset impairment or whatever accounting concept. Like, I keep missing questions on it. Well, one, it's scientifically proven that if you make a flashcard, whether you're typing or handwriting it out, like, you actively like kind of like, it's just like when you're trying,
you have to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, like when you're like actually like putting that process, like the steps of how to solve this equation or whatever problem onto a flashcard, you figure it out, and you're just like, oh yeah, okay, it makes sense now. Like the process of making a flashcard itself is a learning tool, and then then a little later on it'll come up in your review. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, flashcards, that's a huge thing, because exactly like you said, just the act of making the flashcard is valuable in itself, and then you're reviewing that flashcard, maybe every day. And so exactly like you said, you're turning something that was a weakness into a strength. But the great thing is, like you were saying with the re-review, you're not losing things that you're strong in, like, because you're constantly reviewing it. So you're never losing strengths, you're just adding strengths, so all that together just works really well. Yeah, you're saying everything exactly, how we think it. I love it. So flashcards was something you implemented, questions first. Did you start studying like when you were studying the traditional method, what time were you studying, and did you change that?
Yeah, so I mean, like when I was using the traditional method, I was studying after work. Like, you're already tired, like, and I have a long commute too. It's just like, oh my god, and then you have to watch hours-long lecture videos, and you're gonna zone out. So you're gonna replay them. Same thing with a textbook. You're gonna zone out when you're reading it, and then you're gonna have to like reread it, and like that quote-unquote 30-minute lecture turns into like 2 hours, and then and then you're gonna have to do like and then you're gonna have to move on to practice questions when you're already tired from work, from commuting, and then watching that lecture with such a low ROI. So in the past, I would have to study over like 4, 5, 6 hours like after work, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so draining. Like, I cannot do this. And
then you get 70, and then you get 72, 71, 70 on audit after all that work. It's just horrible.
Yes, it was so demoralizing. But I mean, like, Superfast CPA, my saving grace. Like, you guys recommended, hey, 2-hour study session in the morning, and then like mini sessions throughout the day, because there's a lot of value in doing stuff throughout the day, as we just talked about. So yeah, that's what I did for like the first month-ish of reg. That reg was the first exam that I started taking using the Superfast study super fast CPA studying approach. But after like a month of waking up early, I was just like, okay, maybe like I knew that I was like comfortable enough to like switch it into a night session. I mean, in the past traditional study method, I would use 4 or 5 hours a night.
Mhm.
With the super CPA approach, at night I'll only do 2 hours, and then obviously
Mhm.
throughout the day beforehand, I did the mini sessions.
Right.
So it's like even then, like I love that you guys recommended 2 hours. Like with that 2 hours, eliminating lectures, eliminating the textbook, just pure questions. I was just like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have done it without super fast CPA.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're saying that like you tried doing the morning for like a month, but you're just like, this is just it's just not working. And the thing is, in the end, we want people to study in the morning just because that's usually how people can get it to happen. But I don't really care as long as you're doing it and you're seeing results. So you were doing it in the evening. Were you doing it like right after work or right before bed? What did that look like?
So I would usually do it like, I mean, like right after I get home from work, I'm exhausted. So like I eat dinner first, I take a shower, just make sure that like I'm fully like
Kind of
my battery's
decompress a
back.
little bit.
Yeah, decompress a little, fill up my battery a little. Because like I mean, after a meal, after a shower, you're a little bit more refreshed compared to like right after you come home from work. So I mean, like
Mhm.
after the meal, after the shower, I'm like more like alert. I'm just like, okay, let's do a 2 hour study session. Start with the questions. I would have one monitor with like my Becker review course, one monitor with like an Excel, because I love y'all's
Mhm.
tip on, because like beforehand, like I'll be taking notes using handwriting, using a pen,
Mhm.
but my handwriting is not the best, and and like we're all compressed for time. We're all busy professionals, and I love the motto super fast and super fast CPA. So it's just faster to write it out into an
Mhm.
Excel. And yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a big thing right there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with handwritten notes. I think there is a benefit to them, but like you said, the time, it makes a huge difference having time to like to get through to type it out. And also the great thing about using a spreadsheet is it's very structured. So it's way easier to like keep things in order and everything and like see what's going on. And it's such a good tool for exam day as well. Did you find that like by using it during your studying, you were more comfortable using it during your exams?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like in the past with the traditional method, I would use that like little 10 key that Prometric
The
provided, and
horrible
I would use,
calculator.
and it's just like I mean, like within Excel, I mean, like we're all accountants, we're all used to like
Hmm.
the number pad on our keyboard, so
Hmm.
it's just like we're all used to that a bit more, so we're inherently going to be much faster with that, which is a huge asset on exam day. And like with a spreadsheet, like you can see what goes into a calculation versus one of those little plastic calculators. Like you
Hmm.
don't see like all the math that actually, you only see
Yep.
one line of numbers compared to an Excel. You can have like a sum of the columns, and you can see like what numbers are in that column. Does that make sense? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see what is going into a number instead of just seeing the end result, which that's actually something I talk to my coaching clients about a lot is like I tell people instead of using your spreadsheet and just doing the whole calculation in one cell, because you can just do equals and then just do the
Yeah.
whole calculation, right? But I always tell people to split the numbers out and then you do the calculation based on the cells, because that way you can see what's going on, that way you can see what's happening instead of just being like, I don't know where that number came from. And
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing that you're saying there, like calculator versus the spreadsheet. uh I mean, yeah, you're having lots of great tips. So uh I remember before this, and I did have a chance to look at it, I just didn't have a chance to respond. I saw that spreadsheet that you laid out.
Yeah.
So you had it
Yeah.
like all planned out every day. Can you kind of explain that, like how you planned out each day to make sure that you were on track?
Yeah. So I mean, like essentially, like I mean, like I guess like I mean, you guys don't have to use a spreadsheet if you don't want to. I would recommend it, but I mean, like I would have like one column with like all the dates lining up to the exam day, like March 1, March 2, March 3, March 4,
Right, right.
March 5, whatever. And then I would have a row on top that said like all the chapters of like a review course, and I would try and do like 1 or 2 chapters a day, and it kind of just looked like a descending staircase in the end. But I always made sure to do like at least one set of 30, if not multiple sets of 30, because you have to do it. It not only like prevents you from forgetting the concepts that you learned beforehand on prior days and prior chapters, but also strengthens it. I mean, like I remember when I was studying audit for the 4th time, which I finally passed by, but like there were like some concepts that I was just like, what the heck? I was like, okay, whatever. Next day, I'll just move on to the next chapter. But I always made sure to just do a random set of 30, if not multiple sets of 30, all the prior chapters. Like, let's say I'm on day 6, I'm doing chapter 6 for the first time. Well, at the end of the study session, I would do a random 30 question mini quiz of like chapters 1 through 5, just to make sure that like I'm not forgetting anything, and that I'm also strengthening those concepts. Yeah. That is your question. Sorry, I'm going off on tangents.
No, you're good. So yeah, with the, and honestly, I forgot what my exact question was, but so what was the timeline was 6 months, and you passed all of them first try at this time through. Was there any exam that still gave you a lot of trouble where you're like, you weren't 100% sure that you were, well, I guess you probably were never 100% sure you were going to pass, but was there any exam that gave you extra trouble in particular?
I'd say, I mean, like, I hear this on like the other podcast episodes too. It's just like, I mean, like SuperfastCPA is with no doubt the best review course out there, and it'll definitely like increase your chances of passing the CPA exams by a significant margin. But like it's just, maybe it's just anxiety on my part, but like every time I walked out of an exam, I was just like, this could go either way.
No way. Yep.
But and I'll always just be like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And then I see the exam results like maybe a few weeks or a month later. I'm just like, oh hey, I passed. I mean, like, and my scores were, let's see, BEC. Well, that was traditional method. I had like an 83 or whatever. Then the 3 times I failed audit under the traditional approach were 71, 72, 70. And then I finally switched to SuperfastCPA. Reg was 83, TCP was 84, bar was 80, and audit was 84. So I mean, like,
hey, so they're all great. Yeah. That's awesome. So, and did you find that like that, this is actually something I'm curious about, because I feel that this is the case, but did you find that reg and TCP fit really well together? Like it was good to take them close together?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like in many ways, TCP just felt like an extension, a continuation of reg. So I was just like, okay. And that was one of the reasons why I switched to reg after failing audit for the 3rd time, because I was just like, okay, well, the TCP window is coming up. That quarterly window.
Do reg first and then do TCP.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just like, yeah, no, reg and TCP are like brothers and sisters. Like, it just makes absolute sense to pair those two together and take those together. Like take reg first, because like that's kind of like the bigger monster, and then afterwards, take TCP.
Yeah, I've thought the same thing, because between the 3 discipline exams, TCP seems very close to reg, whereas ISC has some similarities to audit, but it's like there's a lot of new stuff as well. And then bar is just like, bar is basically like taking FAR, which is already hard, and making it even harder, in my opinion. So it's like, don't take bar. But that's cool. Like I thought the same thing, that TCP seems to be one of the closest discipline exam to one of the core exams, which I think is probably why it has one of the highest pass rates. I think it has the highest pass rate. Anyway, so you pass them all in 6 months, and I mean, obviously you're very excited about it as you've been talking about it. So what did you do like each time you passed an exam, and when you finally passed all of them, like what was it like to be seeing that and feeling that?
It was so surreal, because I mean, like, again, like I had failed 3 times, like all within like the same low 70s range. So I was just like, oh my God, what is going on? And like I remember taking like reg and study. I remember when I was like in the study process for reg, and I was still pretty nervous, because I was just like, I mean, I worked in taxes theoretically. I should have like reg in the bag, but I was like so nervous about even reg because I mean I just failed audit 3 times. I was
Yeah.
just like, what is going on? So when I found out that I passed reg, I was just like, it was like genuine because I was so stressed leading up to like that exam score release. I was just like, oh my god, it just felt like ice
Huge
water,
relief.
like
Yeah.
huge relief. And I was just like, oh my god, I wouldn't have done this without SuperfastCPA. And then I moved on to TCP with SuperfastCPA. I moved on to Farm with SuperfastCPA. I moved on to Audit with SuperFast. And each time I was just like, each time I found out that I passed, I was just like, oh my god, yes, I can do this.
That's awesome.
And another point, going back to that spreadsheet thing, where like you said, like, oh, break out the numbers in each little cell, don't have it all formulated in one cell. That really helps too, because I mean, like a lot of BCPA questions, they have multiple questions that if you trip up on one step, there's an answer just like that. So it helps that like you break out in the spreadsheet on exam day, like, you break out all the numbers into each individual cell so that you can easily spot if you're making a mistake, if you're making an error. So that way you don't trip up and select the wrong answer that the AICPA purposefully put on there.
Yep, they knew you'd make that mistake. Yep, exactly. Yeah. So what was your like study timeline for each of them? Was it the same for each of them, or was it kind of different? Like, was it like 6 weeks for this one, 3 weeks for this one? Just curious how that looked.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think. Let me see. I think reg was like 7 weeks. TCP was like 5 or 6 weeks. And these are just ballpark numbers out there. I kind of forgot by now. FAR was like definitely the longest, like 8 or 9 weeks. And then with audits, and so it was my 4th time taking it at that point, it was only like 7 weeks or so. And these are just like, again, these are just like ballpark ranges. I can't remember exactly, but
so kind of roughly around the same amount of time each time, except maybe TCP was a little bit less. And one thing that I haven't asked you about yet, so we talked a lot about, questions first, talked a lot about the mini sessions. And actually I have one question about the mini sessions that I'll ask after this, but what did you do to study the sims? Like, what was your strategy for those?
Yeah, so I mean, sims were definitely the biggest nightmare. I mean, I think there were multiple reasons why I failed audit 3 times. I mean, one of it was just because I was using the traditional method, the traditional study approach, which is completely ineffective. But the other reason why I kept failing audit was that like I just kept avoiding sims. I just kept telling myself, oh, I'll figure it out on exam day. Because like when I was studying for audit those 3 times, I was just like, this seems really hard. I'm just gonna like just push it off till tomorrow. I can figure it out on exam day. I'll wing it on exam day. But I mean, like, obviously, like the sims you see in your practice course aren't going to be the sims that you see on exam day. But I mean, like by doing sims, you just build up the skill. Because I mean, everything is like, it's just a skill of being able to do sims well. So it's just a skill to be able to do MCQs well. By doing a bunch of sims, in your like own little while you're studying, you inherently build up the skill of being able to look through like 8 different exhibits and like extract the information you need. That's a good skill. And to answer your question more precisely, I know you guys recommend like you do the sims during the weekends, but I found that like, so what I did for each exam was that I just did all the multiple choice, maybe like a week. I finished all the multiple choice maybe like within like 2 weeks before my actual exam, and then those 2 weeks leading up to the exam, I would do all the sims. I would also do more multiple choice question re-reviews, but I would save the sims for last, for like the final 2 weeks of my study journey leading up to the exam day, because like I've just found that like it was more helpful that way. I mean, like,
yeah, that's actually pretty much exactly what I did, because I just really struggled to spend all that extra time on the weekends. Those 2 weeks leading up to the exam, I would do sims every day. Just because, like you said, they're so overwhelming. They're so time consuming. So kind of saving them for the end was just easier for me personally. And I still did them, exactly like you did. Like you still did them, still got that practice. So on the weekends, did you just do 2 hours, or did you study extra, but you did MCQs. How did that look?
Yeah, so on the weekends I would study like 6 to 8 hours, which is definitely like
Okay.
a bit more than what you guys recommend on the weekends. I think you guys recommend like 4 to 6 hours, but I mean, like
Yeah.
for me, I was like kind of a slow learner. But I mean, the point is, during Monday through Friday, I only did the 2 hour main session and the mini sessions the other day, so that was a huge time saver. But anyways, on the weekends, yeah, I was like 6 to 8 hours. But I mean, like I still had time to do like the stuff that I actually like, which is one of the benefits of super fast CPA. But on the weekends, so let's see. I mean, like yeah, I would just like I mean, it would just be like the same like process as usual, just like just more in depth, but just like longer. Like I would try to get through the chapter. I would, if I could, I would do multiple sets of 30. And yeah, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much a weekend. It's just the same
Did
thing,
you
but longer.
did you split it up into like you would just do multiple 2 hour sessions, or is it just kind of one long session?
Yeah, so I would do them in 2 hour sessions because I mean I don't want to burn myself out too much and it's the weekend.
Right.
I
Right.
want to like relax a little. But I mean like what I like about I mean like it is helpful just to like study for 2 hours and then like maybe take a little break and then like maybe like 10-15 minutes and then go do another 2 hours because I mean it kind of just mimics exam day. Like it builds up your endurance for
Exactly.
exam day because on
Yep.
exam day, guess what? You're going to be like 2 hours, you're halfway through the exam, and then you get like that allowed 15-minute break, and then you continue the rest of the 2 hours for that exam. So I mean, like in a way, like the weekends not only were they like super helpful, like catching up if I like miss anything throughout Monday through Friday, but it was also just super helpful to like essentially build up that mental stamina, that endurance that's
Yep.
required on exam day.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything about the process is around that, like building up your skills, building up your stamina and ability to do exactly what you're going to be doing on exam day. I love it. And you've mentioned hobbies throughout this. Was there anything that you were able to still maintain because the process was more efficient and more manageable?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, like, I love training martial arts. I love MMA. I love
Awesome.
lifting weights. I love learning languages, stuff like that. So I mean, I was still able to do those things thanks to super fast CPA. I mean, like, under the traditional approach, that time that I used for my hobbies would have had to go towards those lecture videos or reading the textbook.
Yep.
But like, so I wouldn't have been able to do any of my hobbies under the traditional approach. But under CPA, I mean, like, you guys got down to the nitty gritty. There was no fluff. It was just like, hey, here's what you need to do. And then you're going to save so much extra time. So you can use that extra time for your hobbies, for your family,
Yep.
your friends, etc.
Yeah.
And then, one other point that I wanted to highlight was that kind of going back to the whole weekend thing of the studying process was that, I mean, like, whenever like when you're studying, you're inevitably going to be coming across a hard concept like a accounting principle or whatever. Same thing on exam day. You're inevitably going to be like thrown like this with this like weird out of left field question. I mean, one of the things that I would do while studying, because I mean, like everything you do while you're studying is essentially just building, like you said, is like it's building up to exam day. It's kind of centers around exam day. Is that like whenever I encountered a hard concept while studying, what I would do is like you can either choose to be frustrated and just be like, oh, whatever, or you can choose to like, just calm down, reassess, and just try and learn from it. Like whether you're making a mistake or whether you're coming across a difficult concept. So like once you build up that habit of not freaking out and remaining calm in your studying process, then on exam day, like, oh, it's that same habit of remaining calm and not freaking out that you've already practiced many times throughout your studying process. Like, does that make sense? Like you just
exactly. Yeah,
it's easy to freak out on exam day, but if you build up the habit of not freaking out and remaining calm while you're studying, whenever you make a mistake, whenever you come across a difficult concept, then it's just like on exam day, it's just like, oh, I've exercised this habit of remaining calm a million times by now, so it's just like whatever. So,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, you've encountered hundreds of difficult topics at this point, and instead of panicking, you've gotten used to just like breaking it down, figuring it out. And that's exactly a skill that you take on exam day, especially with the Sims. Like if you've practiced this, if you have not practiced the Sims, and this happens all the time, I hear it from people all the time that they get to the Sims and they just are so panicked. They're so overwhelmed by the Sims and they just floor them, But then if you've practiced MCQs, if you've practiced sims, and you just know how to confidently move through it, then it's just another sim. It's just another MCQ. You've already done it hundreds of times, So I love what you're saying there. And on exam day, do you have any like tips or tricks or anything like that for actual exam day that you did?
Yeah, I mean, of course, yes. So I mean, like, obviously, like, make sure you absolutely hammer the sims and the MCQs, because like, and whenever you're doing the sims, don't go for the easy ones. Go for like the hard ones that Nate said, like the brutal ones with like 6, 7, or 8 exhibits. Like,
Yeah.
Like that's how you condition yourself for exam day, so that when you come across those like 8 exhibit sims on exam day, it's just like, whatever. I've seen this a million times before. I can calm down. I can just like confidently move through it. But on exam day, like, I know we talked about rituals, like exam day ritual. I would always wear the same shirt.
Yep.
I know you did
that too. Yep.
Yeah, and then I would always eat like relatively the same breakfast, like like a healthy protein shake, some like grilled chicken, some eggs, some veggies, some rice, because like you get out what you put in, and like I want like constant, like natural energy throughout exam day. So let's see, what else would I do? I mean, like, I would also like do like those last minute cram sessions. Like, I wouldn't do any questions at that point, maybe some, but like I would just like essentially look through all the, because like I printed out all the notes I took in those Excel spreadsheets. So I would just like look through those really quick, just be like, okay, make sure you remember this, make sure you remember that. I know some people, whenever they're driving towards the CPA exam center, that they will listen to the Superfast CPA audio notes. But for me, I was just like, okay, I just want to calm down my brain first. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Would you take them in the morning or like midday? When did you take your exams?
Yeah, I took them midday. I mean, like, really, it just depends on like what type of person you are. Like, are you a morning person or are you an afternoon person? I feel like for me, like around like the 1 p.m. time mark was best, because like then I could just like use all that extra time beforehand just to like do like a last minute little cram, just like, okay, through all my notes, just like make sure I don't forget this or that. And yeah.
I mean, just like with everything, a lot of times we recommend doing it in the morning, but there have been a lot of people on the podcast, I'm sure you've heard, and as you just mentioned, where, changing it to a time that is the least stressful for you, like, so that you like for sure can get there on time, can for sure be ready for it, that's what you should do. Like for me, total opposite. I was like, I would be so anxious about the exam that if I had set it for like 12 or 1, I would have just been sitting there like as like a nervous wreck, waiting the whole time until I'm supposed to take it. So I always took mine, at 8 in the morning, so I could just get it done and out of the way. But like you said, having that time to like kind of like prepare, relax, know you're going to be there on time, that was what you needed. So I think that take it at the time that makes you the least stressed and makes you feel the most prepared. I like what you're saying there. And I mean, we've talked about a lot of, you've said amazing things about your process throughout this whole thing. And so I think this will be a great episode for people. As we're wrapping up, I always like to ask this question. Is there anything that you thought of before this call that you're like, I want to share this, but we haven't gotten to talk about it yet?
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, I prepared like a whole talking points, but these are only gonna be like 5 tips. I'm gonna make it quick because I don't want to drag out this whole call. But I mean, like the first time I have is really, guys, if you're listening to this, just get Superfast CPA. I know it costs money, and I know money is money, but time is also money. Like, you're gonna save so much extra time just from using Superfast CPA. There are tips, there are strategies, there are study tools. I mean, like, would you rather like just keep failing, or would you rather like, just like just purchase Superfast CPA and like I'm not a paid actor, like I'm just a regular accounting guy, and I use
this is not a sponsor. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. I mean, I'm just a regular accounting dude, and I just use the Superfast CPA products, and I was so amazed. Like, I would have never thought in my wildest dreams that I would have passed a CPA within 6 months. I mean, you hear these horror stories of like people like spending years, if not like much more time, just like failing, and it's demoralizing. And like, all that time you spent years studying and failing could have gone towards something else like family, hobbies, friends, whatever. So that's my number one tip. Just get super fast CPA. Like I'm not a paid actor, but like seriously, get it. And number two, and this essentially just goes back to like the second tip that I have is essentially just goes back to like knowing what type of person you are. So after I failed audit for the third time, I talked to a good friend of mine. He's a pharmacist, and he had failed like pharmacy exams in the past or whatever. And he told me, print out all your failing scores and tape it onto the wall. So that's what I did. I taped it onto my bedroom, my home office, and my actual work office. And every time I looked at those failing scores, I swear it was like a movie, because like I looked at those failing scores and I would ball up my fist in anger, and I'd just be like, "Oh my God, never again." But I mean, like again, it depends on the type of person you are. So like, if posting your your failing scores on the wall demoralizes you, don't do that. But for me, it motivated me, so do that. The third tip that I had is I've never seen anybody mention this on the podcast before, but it really helped me. What's that like? So I mean, yeah, obviously I would have a monitor for my Becker or whatever review course. I would have a monitor for my Excel, and then on my third monitor, because I connected with a laptop, on my third monitor, I would go onto YouTube and I would type "study with me." It's like this trend of like
I've heard
it's this
those,
trend of like it's this trend of like these random people just like filming themselves quietly studying. And for me, it really helps because like I would find like a 2-hour like long study with me video. Because I mean, like, that's what you guys recommend, the 2-hour main study session. And like, it really helped because like, while I was studying, like, we're all living in the 21st century. We're all addicted to our phones. We're all constantly distracted. It's just like, by seeing somebody study so like studying and like so focused on one of my monitors, I just be like, oh no, I can't get distracted. So like, it will like shift me back into the right path.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then I can't remember what number we are.
So that was 3, I think.
Yeah. The fourth or the fifth tip I had. The fourth tip is just find a good community. I mean, like, I remember like always like again, like I failed audit for the third time. I was feeling so demoralized because I was using the ineffective traditional study approach, and I was feeling so demoralized. And I had a good community. I have a good community of friends. Like, shout out to you guys who trade martial arts with me. If you're watching this, I mean, like I would always just come in and
make them watch it.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna make this the highest rated podcast episode. I'm gonna try. But yeah, like because like all my martial arts friends, they're like these professionals, they're pharmacists, they're CPAs, they're CFPs, they're CFAs. I mean, like they know what it's like to take a professional exam, and they will always just give me constant encouragement. And I am from the bottom of my heart so thankful to them. So like, find a good community, and if you don't like have a good community of like support, I mean, like there's always the SuperfastCPA CPA forums that you guys have. I mean, like I've been out there like several times, and I'm always so like amazed and like touched that like everybody there is so supportive. They're like, oh, you're demoralized, or like, oh, you need more motivation. I mean, it's a very good like community to like give you give you guys support and everything. And then as far I had a fifth tip. No, I think that was it.
Okay. Hey, no, those are fantastic. And I mean, those are that pretty much just answers the last question that I was asking, what would be your top 2 or 3 tips? So we won't ask that one, but I think those are fantastic tips. Get super fast CPA, have a good community, have something that motivates you. And, like you said, depends on the person. Like for me, if I had any failing scores, I think looking at them would have made me feel horrible. But for you were just like, no, never again.
Yeah, it was a movie. It was a movie.
So that's awesome. So yeah, I mean, you've had some amazing tips. I think that this will be one of those episodes that people can refer back to and just have a lot of information on how to do the process right. Now, just before we finish up, just checking one last time, is there anything else that you wanted to say before we, kind of wrap up here? Because you've had a lot of great tips, so I just want to make sure we don't miss any other ones.
I really prepared for this podcast because, like, again, like I was so hyped to be on here. I kept watching you guys. I was just like, I'm living the dream. I'm finally on a hot shot big podcast. Again, like I guess like the fifth tip I would have had is like just like do mini sessions. I mean, like again, like what we were talking about the pull-ups or like the language learning, like there was genuine value in doing something multiple times in intermittent bursts throughout the day, rather than doing it in one big chunk throughout the day and then not thinking about it for the rest of the day. It's scientifically proven that if you do something throughout the day, you are going to learn it more, whether it's language learning, whether it's strength training, pull-ups, whether it's CPA study. Like, it is like genuinely like the best tip out there. And like the SuperfastCPA study tools app is like allows you to do those mini sessions throughout the day, because if you're doing it with any other review course, you're dealing with like these unmobile friendly, easy, like you're gonna have to look at the entire balance sheet if you're using Vector for some question.
Pull up your calculator. Yep, exactly.
It's not feasible. I mean, so that's what I really loved about SuperfastCPA, and this is like all y'all's tips and like all the time that you guys saved me in order to like not only like study and pass these exams, but to also have a life and like do things that I enjoy, family time, hobbies, stuff like that. So, I mean, like, just get SuperfastCPA, pro course method, all the study tools. I highly recommend it. I would not have passed the CPA exams without SuperfastCPA, and I genuinely mean it. So, Logan, Nate, everybody else on the team, thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, no, it's awesome to hear that. I mean, that's the whole reason we do it, is to pass the success that we've figured out. I mean, Nate figured it out, and then I've been doing it too. Pass that on to people, like, because it can be such a horrible nightmare, but turning it into something that maybe isn't quite as horrible, depends on the person, but it's just so much more manageable. And I actually did have one more question, just to kind of end on like a celebration note. Like, have you done anything, or are you planning on doing anything for having passed the exams?
Yeah, well, first,
like to celebrate?
The first thing I'm going to do, to celebrate, is I am going to do everything in my power to make this podcast episode the highest rated and highest viewed podcast episode of all time. And then the second, I haven't taken it yet, but I plan to visit LA to just for the first time, just visit some family, friends, stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're just going to take a trip soon. Thank you, Jason. I mean, this has been an awesome podcast. Like I said, thank you for everything you shared. Congrats on being done. Are you, you're not a CPA quite yet, or have you gotten the certification?
Yeah, I'm still in the process of like doing all the paperwork. I still have to take the ethics exam, all that. But I mean, like, it's open book. And compared to what I have to go through with FAR, Reg, TCP, audit, it's just like, I'm not too worried about the ethics exam. Yeah,
the ethics exam really isn't too bad at all. Well, again, congrats on being done, and thanks for being on the call today, Jason. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was the interview with Jason. Again, he was very excited to be on the podcast. I loved his energy. I loved how passionate he was about the process. Kind of reminds me of myself when I was going through the CPA exams. I was telling everybody about the exams, and I was just so excited about it because it really works. And as you can see with what Jason was talking about, the SuperFast CPA strategies really work when you apply them and actually live them and actually use them. Again, Jason went from failing multiple times to passing all 4 exams in a row. That is a huge difference, and he did that in 6 months. If you want to experience something like that, again, learn more about SuperFast CPA. One of the best things you can do is go to superfastcpa.com and sign up for our free 1-hour webinar training, where we will teach you the key ingredients to passing the CPA exam. And from there, you'll be able to learn even more by looking into becoming a pro member, looking into our study materials, or of course, looking into the total bundle where you get everything. I think this was an awesome episode with Jason, and I'm sure that you learned a lot, and I hope that you can have the success that he had by applying the SuperFast CPA strategies. Now, before you go, again, I already mentioned the webinar, I already mentioned the pro course and the study materials. Make sure that you go check those out. If you like this video, make sure to like it and leave a comment. Thanks for watching or listening, and we will see you in the next episode.